1. For any specific questions about Rrecs or how certain items or activities are credited, please read the section Determining Rural Route Evaluations under Rrecs. 2. Will carriers be able to verify the data collected in the Rrecs system? A. Yes. We are developing a database that will be accessible on the NRLCA website, where carriers will be able to access daily volume data for their own route. Whenever a new evaluation is established, the carrier will be provided with the weekly averages for each category used to calculate the evaluation. 3. When will new evaluations under Rrecs be implemented and actually affect our pay? A. The new evaluations will take place as scheduled in the Rrecs MOU, with the first evaluations effective in our paychecks in July 2022, the second in October 2022, the third in January 2023, and the fourth in April 2023. From that point on, routes will be evaluated every 26 weeks with new evaluations effective in April and October. 4. What will be counted, in the mini-mail counts required by Rrecs? A. As little as possible. Basically, only mail that is sorted in the office by clerks, or any mail that is not processed and counted on automated equipment the rest of the year. 5. Will there be training for the mini-mail counts? A. Information will be provided via the website and in union meetings. 6. What is the timeframe for mapping of the routes under Rrecs? A. USPS has a plan to have all rural routes mapped by the carrier by late fall 2022. Routes not mapped by the time the evaluation is calculated will use the alternative method developed by our engineering panel member, Ken Miracle. The alternative method actually results in a time advantage to the carrier, so USPS has an incentive to get the routes mapped. 7. Are there any plans to hold routes or make other provisions for the possibility that routes may lose evaluation under Rrecs? A. Not at this time. This craft has learned from experience that holding routes is not effective and can be harmful to the craft as a whole. We do not anticipate any large losses in evaluation under Rrecs. Buffer for rebuilds, in the form of overburdened and/or auxiliary routes, exists in most offices. 8. How are parcels credited under Rrecs that are delivered by someone other than the regular carrier, such as auxiliary assistance? A. All parcels are credited to the route on which the address is assigned, regardless of who delivers the parcel and when. The scan data includes information on the delivery address and the parcel is credited accordingly. 9. Is route data collected only when the regular carrier is working? A. Absolutely not. Our leave replacements perform the same job and have the same expectations as a regular carrier. Data is collected every delivery day. 10. Does the 52 weeks of data collected for Rrecs include the Christmas period? A. Yes, all 52 weeks of the year are included. 11. Will we still get Christmas overtime under Rrecs? A. Yes, nothing has changed with the Christmas overtime language. 12. Is bank time reset to 0 with each new evaluation? A. Yes, just as it is in the current system. A new evaluation based on Rrecs resets the bank time. 13. When two mailboxes are close enough to be served by one stop, do we get credit for both boxes even if we only service one? A. Stops and boxes are two different things, just as in the current system. Stops are determined by the mapping and apply each time the vehicle stops. Under Rrecs, this is what determines an interval of driving. Boxes are credited according to the type of delivery and whether the route is 1 bundle, 2 bundle, or 3 bundle. 14. When the routes are eventually evaluated every 26 weeks, will that do away with the seasonal evaluations? A. No. There will still be provisions for seasonal adjustments based on boxes/miles gained or lost with the seasonal swings. 15. The clerks in my office don't measure the mail correctly, or don't measure it at all on a daily basis. How will the affect my Rrecs evaluation? A. It has no effect. Rrecs is not at all based on any measurements of mail. The only input from the local office is during the mini-mail counts. All daily data collection is done electronically based on information recorded when mail is run through automated sorters. Pre-sort flats are determined from national information provided by the mailers with an extra allowance added by the engineering panel. 16. How has the coverage factor for centralized delivery been calculated? A. The coverage factor for all deliveries will be determined with a combination of breadcrumb data showing the mail stop and/or informed delivery data showing which boxes received mail that day. If the delivery shows a stop and/or mail, it will be considered served. Also, any days that include a box holder or WSS coverage are calculated at 100% coverage. 17. Will we be required to wear the scanner in the office to capture footage? Or will it be measured by management only for certain purposes? A. Office walk distances will be measured and recorded by management and the carrier at the time of the mini mail count. The distances are the same each day, so there is no need to keep the scanner on your person in the office. 18. Will my pay change 4 times in the next year? A. It could. However, with evaluations being calculated frequently, and always using a complete 52 previous weeks of mail volume data, the chances of large fluctuations from one period to the next are low. 19. How will starting times or actual work hours affect our evaluations under Rrecs? A. Not at all. Rrecs calculations have nothing to do with the starting times or work hours recorded on the 4240. 20. How will collection mail be counted under Rrecs? A. Collection mail is not counted under Rrecs. A time credit for handling at the box was built into the box time by the engineering panel. Actual time for handling collection mail back at the office is recorded each day as part of end-of-shift duties. The actual time is used to calculate the weekly average. 21. How are parcels delivered on Sundays and holidays credited under Rrecs? A. They are not credited under Rrecs, just as they have never been included in a mail count. Those parcels are not part of the regular weekly evaluation established for Monday through Saturday. 22. Will the mini mail count be how the raw letters are determined to calculate DPS percentage? A. The DPS percentage under Rrecs will be determined using the weekly average DPS letters and weekly average random letters used to calculate your current evaluation. For DPS, this comes from the total weekly average DPS received over the past 52 weeks. For random letters, this will come from the 52-week average of random letters recorded electronically, plus the average weekly random letters counted during the mini mail count. This will determine the DPS percentage to be maintained until the next evaluation. 23. Will carriers have to start delivering parcels to houses more than a half mile? A. No, the parties have not agreed to any changes in that limitation. 24. How will new deliveries be added under Rrecs? A. Much the same as they are now. Additional credit will be added for box time depending on the type of delivery, the current volume factor, and any additional dismount and walking time. Mileage and stops added would recalculate the drive time. 25. How will an auxiliary route become a regular route under Rrecs? A. There is no change to Article 12.3.1.1.a. 26. How will we be compensated for second trips under Rrecs? A. The parties are still negotiating a proper allowance for second trips under Rrecs. The position of the union is the 2003 pre-arbitration settlement that established the current compensation for second trips is no longer valid under Rrecs. 27. If route is not delivered following the line of travel, does this affect the evaluation under Rrecs? A. No. However, carriers should be following the official line of travel, and if the lot needs to be adjusted or changed, you should discuss with your supervisor and make the necessary changes. 28. Will working off the clock affect the evaluations under Rrecs? A. No, but it is a violation of the Fair Labor Standards Act for management to allow any carrier to work without properly recording the time worked. 29. Who should be mapping the routes in preparation for Rrecs? A. The carrier assigned to the route should be assisted by a management or union facilitator in plotting all 4 points for each delivery, plotting the traffic control points, and verifying the line of travel. If this process is not followed, and the mapping is not certified in writing to be correct with the signature of the carrier, we will require the process to be completed again until the carrier's certification is received. 30. What are the actual dates and duration of the mini mail counts? A. Please see the language in the Rrecs MOU. Each time frame is clearly outlined in bullet points 1 to 4. 31. Do we need to have our scanners on our side at all times to capture footage to deliver a parcel, serve a hardship, etc.? A. The scanners, MDDs, do not record any walking distances. Those distances are determined by mapping points and measurement of office walking distances during the mini mail count. However, it is very important to have the scanner with you at the point of delivery of all scanned items. This ensures proper credit for where the item was delivered. 32. How will an evaluation be accurate if scanners only record barcodes on packages and accountable mail? no load time, etc.? A. Please see the language in the Rrecs MOU. Each time frame for determining an interim evaluation is outlined in bullet points 1 to 4. The periods of activity scan data collected increases with each evaluation. 3 months, then 6 months, then 9 months, then a full year. Activity scans record all the additional Rrecs information required to calculate evaluations. This includes loading time, end of shift duties, and all the other additional Rrecs entries outlined on pages 75 to 77 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 33. Under Rrecs, how are parcels with no delivery confirmation barcode credited to the route? A. Please see page 77 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 34. How are parcel pickups counted under new system? A. Please see page 79 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 35. Will all the mail that has been handled since June 2021 be included in our new evaluations, or is it only information from our scanner? A. Please see the Rrecs MOU. 52 weeks of mail volume data will always be used in calculation of evaluations under Rrecs. 36. If I have multiple mailboxes that are 1 foot apart and are considered one stop each on my 4003, will the scanner be able to detect that is the same as one stop for all my mailboxes? A. Please see creep time on page 62 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 37. My route has a factory pickup once all mail delivery is completed. As of now, the factory pickup is considered a second trip and is not part of the route evaluation. With the implementation of Rrecs, will this factory pickup now be part of the route evaluation? A. First, if the pickup is an everyday occurrence, it should be part of your current evaluation. Likewise, if it is an everyday occurrence, it will be included in Rrecs. 38. I serve a very rural area. I pick up packages where the customer leaves me money for postage, the clerk applies correct postage, and I return the change and receipt. How will I get credit for this under Rrecs? A. Please see page 81 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 39. How does the half-mile rule apply under Rrecs? A. There have been several questions about delivering parcels to the door, and how far we drive to accomplish this. First, nothing has changed in the P0603 language below. 331.2 Oversized parcels. 331.21 Attract customer to box. If a parcel is too large for the box, make a reasonable effort to attract the customer to the box to receive the parcel. Do this by sounding the horn or by hailing the customer. If unsuccessful, you must deliver parcels to any residence or business that is on the line of travel, or within 1/2 mile of the route, and has a passable road leading to it. You are required to dismount to effect delivery if there is no response to your efforts to have the customer come to the vehicle, or if the customer requests that you do so. We deliver oversized parcels to the door if the house is no more than 1/2 mile each way from the line of travel. Under Rrecs, the mailbox location and the point where we park to deliver a parcel to the door of that address is mapped. The Rrecs system software measures the distance between those 2 points in a straight line. That distance is doubled to determine the driving distance you are credited with when delivering a parcels to that address under Rrecs. If a house is more than 1/2 mile from the line of travel, then we are not required and should not be driving up to that house to effect delivery. As in the current system, this additional mileage is not included in any equipment maintenance allowance for the route. 40. Given that we will get a new evaluation every 3 months in the first year and every 26 weeks thereafter, will carriers have the opportunity to choose high option, if applicable, after each new evaluation with Rrecs? A. Yes. There is no change to Article 9.2.c.7. 41. When mapping a route, how will handoff mail be mapped and credited to the right route? It's in one route's edit book but delivered by a different route. A. This should not be happening. This situation needs to be corrected and the address moved to the route that actually delivers it as soon as possible, but definitely before the routes are mapped. 42. When returning from the route, will I be credited actual time for checking route data and entries for that day for accuracy? A. No. Time to verify data collected will not be built into route evaluations. No different than the current mail count procedures. 43. Will we be receiving a hard copy of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs? A. There are no current plans to print and mail this document. Members can download and or print the entire document or pages from it using the link at the top of this page. 44. Do we get credit for speed bumps or mandatory signage slowing in congested business areas? A. Please see pages 17 to 18 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 45. Will there be a time limit to load your vehicle when we start recording the time every day? A. No. Loading time takes what it takes. Management does have the right to manage time-wasting practices, as always. Management actions could be subject to a grievance. 46. What is the proper time of day to make edits to the Redbook/case labels to get proper credit for this under Rrecs? A. This time is included with end-of-shift duties. Please see page 78 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 47. How will we be compensated for dismounts for deliveries blocked by cars, trash cans, basketball hoops, etc.? A. There is no change to PO 603 Section 313.2 below. 313.2 Emergency dismount delivery. When snow, vehicles or other objects temporarily block access to individual boxes, dismount to make delivery when such service can be provided without undue physical exertion or risk of personal injury. You are not required to dismount and provide service on foot when roads or entire blocks, or equally large portions of the route, are impassable or when access to several mailboxes, along a continuous segment of the route, is blocked. Whenever necessary, request your postmaster or supervisor to inform customers with PS Form 4056, your mailbox needs attention, see Exhibit 131.1b, or Notice 38, Approaches to Curbside or Rural Mailboxes, see Exhibit 131.1c, to keep the approach to their boxes clear by promptly removing obstructions, including snow, that may make normal delivery of mail from a vehicle difficult or impossible. If management fails to take sufficient action to prevent customers from blocking the deliveries, a grievance should be filed. 48. Under the new Rrecs, does having a non-Saturday K-day affect the evaluation of the route? A. No. 49. Will we retain the right to case DPS letters under Rrecs? A. Yes. Nothing has changed. 50. If a customer picks up a package at the office before delivery is attempted, does the route still get credit for the package? A. Yes, when it is scanned for delivery. But obviously the credit will not be for delivery door. 51. When will the base hour change be made to compensate us for performing the additional Rrecs that we will start on February 19, 22? A. As stated in the MOU, a 2-week survey will be conducted starting March 12, 22. Any base hour. A. As stated in the MOU, a 2-week survey will be conducted starting March 12, 22. Any base hour changes will be calculated by multiplying the weekly average additional Rrecs input scans by 5 seconds. This approximates the evaluated time for these scans under Rrecs. If the base hour change affects a change in the route's paid evaluated hours, the change will be made retroactive to February 19, 22, and continue until the first evaluations under Rrecs become effective in July 2022. 52. If you have 20 addresses in a CBU, and you deliver only 10, are you credited with 10 or 20 boxes? A. 10. Just as in the current system, we are only credited for the active boxes to which we deliver. 53. Will security be in place to limit carriers to just their own route data when logged onto the NRLCA Rrecs database? A. Yes. 54. Is there a change in the way stops are counted for the purposes of EMA calculation? A. No. 55. The calculation of driving time under Rrecs seems complicated. Is there any way to at least get an estimate of what my drive time will be when calculated by Rrecs? A. Yes, the following calculation will give you a very rough estimate of the daily driving time for your route. You need 3 pieces of information: route miles, the number of mail stops, and the number of traffic control points. For example, let's use a route with 47 miles, 420 mail stops and 35 total traffic control points. Add together mail stops and traffic control points to determine total intervals on the route. 420 plus 35 is equal to 455. Divide mileage by total stops above to get the average interval length in miles. 47 divided by 455 is equal to 0.103 miles. Convert miles to feet by multiplying by 5280. 0.103 times 5,280 is equal to 544 feet average interval of the route. Look up this average interval in the drive speed matrix, DSM, in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. In this example, intervals of 540 feet to 615 feet are credited at 18.01 miles per hour. Divide the route miles by the speed in mph to determine the approximate daily evaluated driving time under Rrecs. 47 divided by 18.01 is equal to 2.6 hours per day. Multiply this daily number times 6 days of evaluation to get estimated weekly evaluated driving time under Rrecs. 2.6 times 6 is equal to 15.6 or 15 hours 36 minutes per week. Under our current system, a mile is a mile. This same 47-mile route would receive 47 times 12 minutes per mile or 564 minutes, 9 hours 24 minutes per week, in evaluated driving time. Please understand, the calculation of drive time under Rrecs is much more complicated, as the system looks at every individual interval on the route, determines the time for that interval based on the DSM, and then totals up all the interval times to get a daily total. However, this simple calculation provides a good idea of the effects of Rrecs on a particular route versus current time allowance based only on total miles. 56. How will parcels that came in on a Sunday or holiday, but were not delivered due to weather etc., and must be re-delivered the next day, be credited to the route? A. Those parcels are credited to the route on the day delivered. 57. Will there be any training on Rrecs and what we need to do? A. Yes, there will be training on the use and application of the new Rrecs MDD data entry/scans before rural carriers start performing the entries. Other than those new procedures, rural carriers will perform their duties as usual, and will have the ability to verify data collection throughout the year. 58. When will the new Rrecs data entry/scans appear on our MDD scanners? A. Closer to time to start using those inputs, the scanners will be updated to include the new functions. 59. In the Rrecs drive time calculation, does the speed limit of a road limit the drive speed matrix value? A. No. The DSM value applied to a particular interval is based only on the length of the interval. Length is the one factor the engineering panel determined was the key to interval speed. 60. How is a carrier pickup credited if the customer leaves a note in the box asking me to pick up parcels? A. As it has always been, a note in the box is credited the same as any other carrier pickup request. Please see pages 79 to 80 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 61. If you have 20 active addresses in a CBU and on any given day you have mail for just 10 of the 20 addresses, will you still get a time credit for all 20 active addresses? A. The engineering panel mandated a coverage factor to be applied daily to all deliveries. Please see the explanation of this factor in the answer to number 16 above. 62. Can you explain how Rrecs will credit a route for delivery of mail and packages at a small 4-hour post office? A. As in the current system, that stop is credited as a locked pouch stop. Please see pages 86 to 87 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 63. Should a member of management and a representative of the union be a facilitator in mapping in each office? A. Each carrier will be assisted by a facilitator during the mapping of the route. The facilitator could be either a management or union designee. 64. After the initial mapping of a route, when new deliveries are added, will the same 4 points be established for the new addresses? A. Yes, using the mapping program, or an alternative method using the MDD. 65. Will we receive additional credit for barcodes that won't scan and require manual entry of the numbers? A. No. The standard established by the engineering panel includes time for manually entering the occasional barcode. 66. Will the new evaluations established under Rrecs affect 2080, or 2,240 calculations for the guarantee year? A. No. Annual FLSA work hour benchmarks have nothing to do with the evaluation of the route, only the actual work hours of the carrier. 67. If the MDD is not recording walking distances, what is so important about scanning parcels at the door location? A. First, those have been the instructions for parcel delivery and scanning from the implementation of the very first scanners many years ago. Second, if the carrier indicates the parcel was delivered to the door, the proper scan at that location can be used to verify for management and for the customer the physical location of the delivery. Finally, the time standards established by the engineering panel are based on the carrier taking the MDD with them and scanning at the point of delivery. 68. Do you get credit for a parcel if you select number 3 left with individual at address? A. Yes, that delivery scan would be recorded as a parcel delivered to the door. 69. How is reloading time determined under Rrecs? A. Please see pages 93 to 96 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked top of this page. 70. If I deliver a parcel to a parcel locker on one day, and then ask to remove it from the locker on another day to scan/deliver at the door, will I be credited for that second delivery? A. Yes. 71. If I need to change the type of delivery scan, like from a mailbox to parcel locker, if I realize it won't fit, will the most recent scan be what the route is credited with? A. Yes. 72. How are hardship deliveries credited under Rrecs? A. Like the current system, hardship deliveries are credited as other dismount deliveries. Please see page 64 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 73. Where is time for discussing a grievance with management and filling out a Form 8191 credited under Rrecs? How will waiting for mail, LLV breakdowns, etc. be credited? A. None of these are credited under Rrecs. Just like now, these will be paid using 8,127 time or auxiliary assistance, or, in the case of breakdowns, accumulated toward an other leave day. These are not recurring route duties and not built into the evaluation of the route. 74. Will non-union members have access to the Rrecs data collected for their route? A. Yes. But the manner in which they will access it is yet to be determined. 75. I have several traffic controls points that I approach from different directions each day. How are these counted under Rrecs? A. The TCP is credited each time you go through it on the direction indicated on the line of travel. Example: if you go through a stoplight from both directions, it is counted twice as a TCP and twice as an interval endpoint. 76. How will road construction or other detours/deviations be mapped under Rrecs? A. Just like now, deviations over 30 days are mapped and built into the route. Deviations less than 30 days are paid additional mileage and EMA only. See Article 9.2.b.4. 77. How are lunch and/or restroom deviations mapped under Rrecs? A. Nothing has changed in Article 30.1.f. Deviations for lunch breaks are authorized by management, but are not built into the line of travel or the evaluation. 78. Will we receive an updated PS 4241A after each quarterly route evaluation calculation, and will we also receive them after each of the biannual evaluations from then on, so that we can see changes that have occurred, such as current number of deliveries and volume factors? A. Yes. The form may need to be changed to reflect the Rrecs data format, but the same information will be provided. 79. If a route fluctuates above and below 400 DPS letters on a daily basis, how is the mail credited under Rrecs? Does it matter whether the carrier takes the DPS to the street or cases it? A. Under Rrecs, when any route receives less than 400 DPS letters in a day, that volume is credited as random letters. If the route receives 400 or more DPS letters, the volume is credited as DPS letters. It makes no difference how the carrier handles the mail. 80. Will we retain the right to case our DPS letters under Rrecs? A. Yes, nothing has changed with regard to the carrier's option to case their DPS letters. 81. How are snow delays accounted for under Rrecs? A. The drive speed matrix was developed to include time for weather and road conditions. The times were based on millions of miles driven by thousands of rural routes over the course of an entire year. There are no additional allowances for weather. 82. I have several crossroads on my rural route where there is not an actual stop or yield sign, but you must stop to make sure there is no oncoming traffic. Will these areas be documented as a stop or yield sign in the mapping? A. No. Only actual signed intersections are labeled as a traffic control point. However, each right or left turn is used to define a segment endpoint and the end of an interval when the route is mapped. Please see page 53 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 83. I noticed mapping only mentions the front door. What if we deliver to another door, garage, or other location chosen by the customer? A. As stated in the mapping instructions, see page 27, carriers are to plot the actual physical location where deliveries are made when taken to the door. This could be the front door or wherever directed by the customer. 84. I know it's important to scan at the delivery point, but do we need to close the scan out completely before we start to walk away? A. The GPS location of the delivery is recorded the second you scan the barcode. This comes straight from the Information Technology Department at USPS headquarters. Please scan the barcode at the delivery point. 85. With Rrecs, our scanners are now playing a larger role with data collection. Are the scanners going to be able to be used for disciplinary actions? A. The parties have a long-standing agreement that scanner GPS data alone should not be used to support discipline. However, there is nothing to stop a manager from using scanner GPS data to indicate a behavior that might need to be observed. And scan data could be used to document that a carrier is not following directions with regard to scanning delivery items. 86. What is the coverage factor and what credit do we receive for boxes served on a particular day? A. This is explained thoroughly in answer number 40. To put it simply, if GPS breadcrumbs show you stopped at the box for any reason, it is credited as delivered. If informed delivery shows any mail for the delivery, it is credited as delivered. If you deliver a box holder or walk sequenced letters or walk sequenced flats, you are credited with 100% of boxes delivered for that day. These items are entered on the day delivered, not necessarily on the day received in the office. 87. I was told we would not get paid mileage for deadheading. When I leave the post office, my first box is 5 miles away, and when I finish the route, it's 5 miles back to the office. Will I be paid for those miles? A. You are totally misinformed. Of course, all miles driven on the route, from the time you leave the post office till you return, will be calculated under Rrecs for the time allowance and paid EMA if you use your personal vehicle. 88. What happens if loading time is not recorded on a particular day? A. The engineering panel mandated that all missing data be replaced with the daily average recorded for the route. In this case, the zero loading time would be replaced with the average daily loading time calculated during the year. 89. If you have multiple boxes at end of road and travel down that road to deliver parcels to multiple houses, how is distance paid? Do you get full distance for each parcel, from box to house, or from one house to the next? A. Rrecs would credit the drive time and walking time for each individual delivery as determined by the mapping of the mail stop, the parking point for that address, and the door location. 90. Will local pre-count conferences be required before each of the mini-mail counts? A. Yes, a short conference will be necessary, so that everyone is aware of what is being counted and by whom. 91. What system of checks and balances have been put in place to verify the Postal Service is crediting my individual route accurately for all mail received during the preceding 52-week period? Are there any quality controls set in place? A. Yes, along with making the volume data available to the carrier via the NRLCA website, the union will be monitoring and auditing volume data and other data collection, using Postal Service data and our own physical data collected by carriers and union officials in the field. 92. When management allows a carrier to deliver half of a set of box holders one day and the rest the following day, will the route be compensated 100% of boxes delivered both days? A. No. Each set of box holders is only recorded and credited one time. 93. Is there an optional function in the scanner for a steward to enter their time for Rrecs? A. No. Steward duties will be tracked as they are now. This time is not built into the evaluations. 94. My route is made up of 3 offices. My home office and 2 intermediate offices. My home office has a PM, the other 2 offices are RMPOs, each from different offices. Can I map my entire route at my home office? A. Yes, that is the proper procedure. 95. What are the repercussions for the USPS if they do not start Rrecs in July? A. USPS would be in violation of a Memorandum of Understanding and subject to a national-level grievance, national arbitration, and/or an unfair labor practice charge filed with the National Labor Relations Board. 96. Will there be a training period on how to use the new MDD before Rrecs comes into use? A. Yes, as stated in the Rrecs MOU. We will begin the new Rrecs entries in the MDD on February 19, 22. The data will not be recorded for evaluation purposes until March 12, 22. 97. Is each mailbox, whether central or curbside, counted under Rrecs, or do we just receive one box for each stop? A. Just like now, the route is credited with each individual active mailbox, central or curbside. Stops are only used to calculate the driving time. 98. Will the letter-sized mail that is processed with the flat sortation be credited as a flat? A. Yes, the automated counts of machine-processed mail count every piece in the tub or tray. 99. If a parcel has a partial barcode and cannot be scanned, or have the numbers manually input, how does it get the appropriate credit? A. See the answer to number 33. Partial or no barcode parcels are credited in the same manner. 100. How will a route deviation be captured for a missed parcel? A. There has never been compensation provided for the carrier's oversight. This is also not part of Rrecs. 101. When mapping is complete, will this become our official mileage? A. Not until your first evaluation goes into effect after your route is mapped. Until then, the latest official measured mileage will be used. If there are issues with the route mileage before Rrecs takes effect, either the carrier or management may request a remeasurement. 102. I've seen different ways people are scanning carrier pickup items. Do I scan the items at the location of the pickup, or when I return to the post office? A. Scan at the point of pickup. This is according to USPS instructions, and more accurately reflects the point of pickup for Rrecs. 103. If you are delivering at a central location, will the driving distance be credited if you have to deliver a package to the door and it's not on the line of travel? A. Yes, you will map every single delivery with the location of the mail stop, where you park to deliver the box, the location of the mailbox, the location where you park to deliver a parcel to the door, and the door location where you deliver the parcel. When you go to the door, you are credited with the straight line, round-trip distance to drive from the mail stop to the parking spot where you park to deliver, and also the walking distance round-trip measured in a straight line from the parking point to the door. Also see the answers to number 39 and 89. 104. Walk sequence letter and flats are something new. How do we identify these mailing and how are they credited under Rrecs? A. WSS flats and letters are identified by the letters WSS or WSH next to the route number on the address label of the mail pieces. It is usually preceded by ECR. Examples would be ECR WSS** R026 or ECR WSH** R026. Management has the right to run these mailings through DPS. If the mailing is received in your DPS, there is no additional credit. Each piece would be included in your DPS end-of-run report for the day. However, if you receive these types of mailings outside of DPS letters or flats, the carrier will enter a set of WSS letters or WSS flats, as appropriate, into the MDD. The route will be credited with a full coverage of WSS letters or flats as entered. The casing time standard for WSS letters is 27.4 pieces per minute. The casing standard for WSS flats is 13.5 pieces per minute. As these mailings are received in some kind of delivery order, it may be reverse order. The panel determined a standard that falls between random and DPS standards. These mailings are separate from box holders, which have no individual addresses. 105. will the routes that were involved in the study use their entire 52 weeks of data to start the Rrecs system, while the routes that were not included build up to the 52 weeks? A. No, all routes are treated the same. Please see the Rrecs MOU, bullet points 1 to 4, for the dates and data included in each calculation. Volume data has been collected on all routes since 2020. 106. I understand that Rrecs requires that the carrier follows the line of travel and have a properly updated edit book. The edit book and line of travel for my route have been repeatedly submitted but not updated. Is there a course of action plan for this situation? A. Yes. Line of travel and edit book updates are part of the Rrecs mapping process. 107. If my centralized delivery shows no informed delivery that day, yet I have random letters addressed to one or more of those boxes, how would Rrecs know it was delivered? A. The system will not recognize those boxes as delivered on that one day. The coverage percentage will be affected for that one day out of 301 delivery days in the year. The coverage factor was imposed on the parties by the engineering panel. We are bound by the terms. Remember, each day you have a box holder or a walk sequenced mailing is credited as 100% coverage. 108. Why is the standard for a sidewalk box lower than a curb box when it requires a dismount? A. Sidewalk boxes are given much more than just the box allowance. Please see page 64 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 109. Every day I drive up into one of my NDCBU neighborhoods to deliver parcels that don't fit in the lockers. Since this part of the neighborhood is beyond the NDCBU, it's not on my line of travel. Should it be? A. No. Please see answer number 103, which explains how deliveries to the door are credited for central delivery locations. 110. What is the purpose of the AUTHDISMOUNT scan under Rrecs? A. This scan is used to enter an additional trip at an authorized dismount location. Authorized dismounts are defined just as they are now, a location where you dismount to deliver every day. These dismounts are included in the mapping of the route, and one dismount plus the walking distance is included automatically each day. When you have to make additional trips, you enter them using the scan/entry on the MDD. The route is credited again with the authorized walking distance. 111. Is edit book and case maintenance work accomplished during the end of shift duties using the Rrecs activity scans? A. Yes. Please see pages 78 to 79 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 112. How are we credited under Rrecs for tasks such as waiting to be buzzed in at secured buildings, unlocking closed office buildings, security gates, etc., which are included in column 17 timed now? A. When mapping dismount deliveries under Rrecs, there is a column to add extra time for these types of issues. Please see page 42 in the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 113. If we are paid for boxes we stop at, what happens to box down, premium forwards, hold mail? A. If informed delivery shows you have mail for those boxes, you will still get credit for the delivery that day, even though you do not stop at the box. If not, then the box is not included in the delivery count for the day 4 coverage calculation. The engineering panel insisted on the coverage factor specifically because it was clear that rural carriers do not necessarily stop at every box every day. The NRLCA objected to the coverage factor, but the panel decided it would remain. 114. How do we map the door location at a business or residence where we deliver to different locations depending on the parcel volume? A. Under Rrecs mapping, you will locate the parking point and the door location you use most often when delivering parcels to the door of a business or residence. The carrier will determine these locations when mapping the route. 115. I have a certified letter, a large parcel, and a small parcel for a resident. I have to dismount and walk to the door. The customer answers the door and accepts the certified, and I scan both parcels there as well. What credit do I receive for this delivery? A. The time for delivery only would include S047 prelim and concluding at vehicle for trip to door at 0.852 minutes for the one trip. S048F gather accountable mail/large parcel at 0.205 minutes for the trip. S048V gather accountable mail/large parcel variable at 0.0812 minutes for each piece, 3 in your example. Driving time round trip for straight line distance from mail stop to parking point. Speed determined by drive speed matrix. Walking time round trip for straight line distance from parking point to door at 0.00429 minutes per foot. S035 deliver parcels to door at 0.1954 minutes per piece, 2 in your example. S038 deliver accountable mail, SIG items at 0.9615 minutes per piece, 1 in your example. Of course, the allowances above are in addition to the office allowances for these types of mail pieces. Please see the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 116. Has the union done any analysis of current time standards versus Rrecs time on the routes already mapped? A. Yes. It is impossible to analyze individual routes, as Rrecs calculations depend on data from the NDDs, which is not complete. However, we can make the following generalizations about new standards versus current. Considering the routes already mapped under Rrecs, the average difference in drive time between Rrecs mapped calculation using the DMS versus the current standard of 2 minutes per mile per day is an increase of 48 minutes per day or 4 hours and 48 minutes per week in evaluated time. We know that the average route takes 35 parcels to the door each day. This average comes from the analysis of an entire year of data collected on all rural routes, from June 2020 to June 2021. Under the current evaluated system, those 35 parcels add 28 minutes per day or 2 hours and 48 minutes per week to the evaluation. Under Rrecs, using the average drive and walk distances from mapped routes, and the other standards, the average parcel delivered to the door will add 2.6 minutes per day to the route. Using the average of 35 parcels per day, this Rrecs standard will mean 91 minutes per day or 9 hours and 6 minutes per week to the evaluation. This is an average increase of 6 hours and 18 minutes per week in evaluation. Of course, the more parcels a route delivers to the door, the larger the net increase. The average time credited to all rural routes during the last national mail count in March of 2018 for column 15, non-signature scan items was 172 minutes, 2 hours and 52 minutes, per week based on an average of 571 scans per week. Under Rrecs, the time for delivery scans is built into the standard for the item itself, such as parcel delivery and accountable delivery. The NDD scans and entries we will perform for Rrecs purposes will be credited at either 4.7 or 5.6 seconds depending on the type of entry, one step or complicated. Obviously, this time will not make up for the loss of column 15 time included in our current evaluations. Under Rrecs, the standard allowance for DPS letters is significantly reduced from 43 pieces per minute with a RHD government vehicle or 30 pieces per minute with a POV to 86 pieces per minute as address verification time. Again, using the average weekly DPS numbers from the 2018 national count, the average DPS route received 8,223 DPS letters per week. This equates to 191 minutes or 3 hours and 11 minutes per week with a government RHD vehicle, and 274 minutes or 4 hours and 34 minutes per week with a POV. Under Rrecs, the weekly standard time for a route averaging 8223 DPS letters will be 96 minutes per week. Under Rrecs, the standard time for curb boxes, 2 bundle, the most prevalent box type on rural routes, is reduced from 2 minutes per week, 1.82 minutes for L routes, down to 1.2162 minutes per week under Rrecs. Non-L routes have an average of 475 regular boxes. L routes average 454 regular boxes. The net loss to non-L routes would average 372 minutes, or 6 hours and 12 minutes per week. The net loss to L routes would average 274 minutes, or 4 hours and 34 minutes per week. These are merely averages and times will vary depending on the specific box types and bundle system under Rrecs. Likewise, the standard time for central boxes, CBU2 bundle, the most prevalent central box type on rural routes, is reduced from 1 minute per week to 0.6462 minutes per week under Rrecs. Rural routes average 159 central boxes. The net loss under Rrecs would be 56 minutes per week. These are averages. Many rural routes have no central boxes, and many have a lot more than 159. Most of the other time standards are difficult to analyze. Either they are new, as with WSS letters and flats being counted separately, or they could be significantly affected by averaging actual times over a long period, such as loading time and end-of-shift duties. Also, accounting for actual weekly averages on box holders, accountable mail etc., instead of relying on just 2 weeks of data, will have varying effects on routes, making it difficult to predict. 117. Do you have to pay for all postage dues for the customer to get street credit for postage dues? I leave notice for postage dues unless it doesn't fit in the box, and even then, I don't pay for them ahead of time. A. The credit is the same, regardless of how you handle the postage due items. Please see page 73 of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 118. It doesn't appear the MDD has an entry for the LLV safety check. How will we receive credit for this function? A. That is an automatic credit for routes assigned a USPS vehicle. Please see pages 90 to 92 of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 119. Is the load truck function going to be a requirement under Rrecs? A. No. It will not be required unless and until the parties negotiate and establish a time standard for it. 120. Do I have to hit enter after each scan to get credit for each? If I have 6 parcels and I scan all 6 before hitting enter, will I get credit for all 6? A. Yes, you will be credited with all 6 parcels. However, the time standard for parcel delivery does include time for completing the scan, including hitting enter for each piece. 121. Would the facilitator of the office be allowed to map their own route alone? A. There is no prohibition against a rural carrier who is acting as a facilitator for mapping their own route. 122. I have multiple locations where there are 2 regular mailboxes grouped together. At a stop, the first mailbox has informed delivery mail, the second box does not. However, the second box has a small parcel that I have to scan to deliver. Do I get delivery credit for both of those boxes? A. Yes. In fact, since those boxes are too close for the breadcrumbs to separate, anytime you stop at that post, both boxes would be credited as delivered for purposes of coverage factor calculation. Please remember, the coverage factor takes into consideration either informed delivery and/or a stop of the vehicle. 123. Are all CBUs automatically considered a dismount? Some can be serviced from the LLV. A. No. You are correct, some CBUs are serviced from the vehicle. This dismount or no dismount information is entered at the time of Rrecs mapping, very much like it is now captured at the time of a route inspection. 124. When identifying traffic control points while mapping my route, am I to note all pedestrian crosswalks or only those in front of a school? There are dozens of pedestrian and golf cart crosswalks on my route. Will they be accounted for in the drive speed matrix? A. Only if they are a true, signed crosswalk. 125. Is our EMA changing with Rrecs? Are we going to be paid our actual mileage from scanner, going up driveways, etc., or the same mileage from 4003? A. There is no change to EMA under Rrecs. It will still be based on the official route mileage, as will be determined by Rrecs mapping. The out-of-route driving up driveways, etc., is not included in EMA. Out-of-route driving only affects the driving time compensable under Rrecs. 126. When certified mail is in your DPS, why aren't they accountable when we still have to get a signature for them? A. They are accountable, and they should be handled like an accountable, and they should have been credited as an accountable under the current system, and they will be credited as an accountable under Rrecs. 127. When doing a carrier pickup under the Rrecs, do we scan every package that we pick up? A. You should do as instructed by your manager. Publication 399 only requires a carrier to scan the first 5 pieces of a pickup event. However, some managers instruct to scan them all. You will get credit for each piece scanned and each piece not scanned because you will count and enter the number of pieces picked up, even if you are not required to scan them all. Please see pages 79 to 81 of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 128. I have drops in my edit book where more than one family shares a mailbox. Will box holders and WSS coverages be credited with the number of boxes or the family count? A. Coverages are given the family count because that should be the number of pieces provided by the mailer. 129. Do we get the same time standard applied to parcels we delivered to the door on a second trip? A. Yes, exactly the same. 130. How does the MDD measure the distances I have walked each day? A. The MDD does not measure any walk distances. All walk distances come from one of 3 sources. The distances between mapped park points and door locations. The distance is entered into the mapping program for each regular dismount location, such as CBUs or dismount deliveries to schools, etc. The in-office walk distance is measured by the carrier and management during the mini-mail count period. 131. Would metered freeway on-ramps be considered a traffic control point? A. If the entry is controlled by a traffic light, yes. 132. Would right or left turns, where there is not a stop sign, be considered a traffic control point because you still have to slow down and often stop? A. No. However, during Rrecs mapping, these intersections determine an interval endpoint for calculation of driving time, just like a stop. 133. How will carriers document time for carrier corrections to forwards, removal of yellow stickers, talking to customers on the phone and over the counter, etc.? A. These types of miscellaneous duties will be captured during the mini-mail counts, much like we capture column 17 time now. 134. There are some carriers that take the parcels directly to their vehicles. There they put the small ones in delivery order in trays, write down a list of the big parcels, and load them to the vehicles in delivery order. Will all that time be counted as loading time? A. Loading time does not include organizing parcels. That is to be completed in the office before loading. There are standards based on the number of parcels for organizing in the office. Please see pages 68 to 69 of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 135. How long should we be sitting at each box in order to get credit for it under Rrecs? A. As long as you stop and deliver to or pick up mail from the box, and or informed delivery shows mail for the address, it will be counted as delivered on that day for coverage factor. 136. We are required to dismount to serve temporarily blocked boxes, where it is safe to do so. Would that be an authorized dismount on the scanner? A. No. Please see number 47 above. 137. If the scans have not been done in our office, how is this going to affect the data received for our first evaluations collected June 2021 to June 2022? A. As stated in the MOU, MDD scan data collection will begin on March 12, 2022, for all routes. The first evaluations will include 3 months of MDD data. Each interim evaluation will include an additional 3 months of MDD scan data. Volume data that is not collected from Rrecs MDD scans will always have the immediate previous 52 weeks averaged for the interim evaluations. 138. If an MDD input for box holders, stamps, etc. is missed, can it be entered the next day? A. Yes, but these instances should be limited. Management would have a right to question multiple entries after the fact. 139. If you deliver to both sides of a street but deliver parcels the first time you travel this road, is this where you mark your stop and then get the footage from there? A. For accuracy, you should mark the actual location where you are parked when you deliver a parcel to an address, and the actual door location of the address. 140. My office gets 2 local newspapers dropped directly at the office for delivery. These papers are bundled and barcoded but never go through the plant or an automated machine. Will these be counted during the mini count, or is there another way to give credit to the routes? A. Most likely, these mailing are WSS or WSH, and would be entered in the MDD each time. Please see number 114 above. If the mailings are not WSS or WSH, then they would be counted in the mini mail count. 141. How will acts of God affect Rrecs? A. There will be no effect. Just as there is no effect on our evaluations now. The route will be credited with all of the mail and parcels when it is delivered after the AOG. 142. Please define direct door delivery (DDD) stop. A. This is simply the location where you park to deliver a parcel to that particular address. 143. The half-mile rule still applies for parcel delivery to the door, but is management going to consider straight-line distance in a half-mile? A. The work rule is based on actual driving distance. If a house is more than a half-mile from the line of travel, we are not required to drive to the door. The measurement for determining Rrecs driving time is based on a straight line. These are two different things. 144. Will carriers be required to manually input any information into the scanner on a daily/weekly basis? A. Yes. Please see pages 75 to 77 of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 145. What if I scan a parcel to the mailbox, and then realize it doesn't fit, and then have to take it to the door? A. The system recognizes the last scan entered. 146. What is the purpose of start and stop deviation? How does this affect our pay? A. Those entries are for deviations to deliver express mail. Please see pages 77 to 78 of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 147. How do we record breakdowns and wait time if our vehicle has mechanical issues? A. Please see number 73 above. 148. I use a POV and strap, bundle, my mail. The Rrecs comprehensive guide describes pulling down into trays. Can I still use straps, and will that affect my time standard? A. Yes, you may still bundle with straps. The time standard is the same, regardless of how you accomplish pulling down. 149. I've read about getting actual time for end-of-day functions. Is this our usual 3M mark UPS, dumping outgoing mail, excess box holders? Would we need to enter anything into the scanner at this time? What would start and end the time for our end-of-day functions? A. Please see pages 78 to 79 of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 150. Our manager's safety talks often are 20 minutes or more. Do we still get 5 minutes automatic every week? What if they are longer? Or we have 2 or even 3 in a week? A. One of the improvements in Rrecs is that safety/service talks are actually timed every day, all year long, and the 52-week average is built into the evaluations. 151. Since we will be using 52 weeks of mail data for our evaluations to start the Rrecs system, does that also include all the scans and parcels that we have delivered over the previous 52 weeks? A. Yes. 152. How much do we get per scan for a parcel that fits in the mailbox? A. Please see pages 68 to 69 of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 153. Is there a chart somewhere that shows how much time we will get for each item, like letters, flats, parcels, etc.? A. Yes. Please see pages 54 to 59 of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 154. How is parcel delivered to individual credited under Rrecs? A. That would be the same credit as delivered to door. 155. I know in the new proposed contract it states all references to mail count will be removed. Does this include the language for the special count that was held in the last 12 days of September? A. Yes. 156. If I deliver 4 parcels to the same address, will the time standard credit for each parcel be the same if I choose to scan them together instead of individually? A. Yes. 157. How is changing a lot compensated? A. Those tasks will be entered at the mini mail count as miscellaneous duties, much like we use column 17 now. 158. What if the actual number of markup bundles is more than the number credited to you using their mathematical equation? How do we get credit for the correct number of bundles marked up? A. The standard and calculations were specified by the engineering panel. It will not change. 159. How do you get credit for 2 box holders on the same day? A. You will use the MDD to enter 2 separate sets of box holders. 160. Please explain the 1, 2 and 3 bundle determinations under Rrecs. A. Regardless of how the carrier cases or carries the mail, a route that receives neither DPS letters nor DPS flats is 1 bundle. A route that receives only DPS letters is 2 bundle. A route that receives both DPS flats and DPS letters is considered 3 bundle. 161. I have 3 regular boxes 500 feet apart. I do not stop at the middle box, no mail to deliver and no flag up. Is the drive speed matrix adjusted for that day to a higher speed for that segment because I didn't stop at that box? A. No. The drive speed is determined only by the mapped intervals of the route. Not stopping at an active box on any given day does not affect the driving time. 162. The answer to number 30 question on Rrecs Q&A refers to Rrecs MOU. I cannot find that anywhere. I'd like to see a copy. A. The Rrecs MOU was included in the tentative agreement magazine that was mailed to all members. It is also included in the tentative agreement linked on the NRLCA website. 163. Do I have to hit enter after each scan to get credit for each? If I have 6 parcels and I scan all 6 before hitting enter, will I get credit for all 6? A. Yes. 164. Can we put an example up of some math on the coverage factor? Is it only the box delivery standard that will be affected? Not your entire evaluation for the day, correct? So, if I have 1,000 boxes, for sake of easy math, and my coverage factor is 75% that day, very feasible on my route, and I run a 3-bundle system, what would my loss be for that day due to coverage factor, assuming I'm not stopping at those 250 boxes at all? A. You are correct, the box delivery standard is the only time affected by the coverage factor. In your example, let's assume all boxes are CBUs. The daily time for CBU 3 bundle is 0.1625 minutes per box. So on a 100% coverage day, any day you have a box holder or other coverage, your total daily time for those boxes would be 162.5 minutes. At 75% coverage, the time would be 121.9 minutes, a difference of 40.6 minutes for that day only. 165. While doing the mapping I discovered it's asking for dismounts and parcel locker quantities. What forms should we have besides the red book/edit book? The dismounts are not in our red book. Should we also have the 4003? A. Yes. During Rrecs mapping, the dismount distances will be added for each authorized dismount delivery very much the way we do in current mail counts. 166. We are currently mapping. How will Rrecs affect a route that has a higher box count, but less stops, because of a large amount grouped less than 5 feet, or a route with less boxes but more stops? A. For examples of the effects of differing distances between stops, please see pages 60 to 62 of the document determining rural route evaluations under Rrecs, which is linked at the top of this page. 167. I have all CBU delivery. Should I scan my parcels each separately and walk to each CBU? How will scanning large groups of packages and spurs at a single dismount work the pay formula? A. As long as the CBU is within a few steps of the scan point, it will make no difference. Group scanning does not affect the time allowances. 168. If we take a parcel to the door out of delivery order, do we still get credit for the delivery? A. Yes. 169. Curious on tire chains. Do carriers with tire chains on LLVs for the winter get any type of credit for that slowing them down? A. No. All driving speeds and conditions were considered by the engineering panel when they developed the driving standards. 170. What about credit for satchels? I haven't seen that addressed in the information that has been provided. A. Those tasks will be entered at the mini mail count as miscellaneous duties, much like we use column 17 now. 171. What are the effective dates of the new evaluations under Rrecs? A. All of the route evaluations will be effective at the beginning of the second full pay period following the completion of the data collection period. So, July 16, 2022, October 8, 2022, January 14, 2023, and April 8, 2023. 172. If we have a parcel labeled Sunday delivery, and we take it out Saturday or Monday, will we get credit for the delivery because it was scanned on that day, not Sunday? A. Parcels are credited on the day they are actually delivered. 173. There appears to be a difference in published information on time allotted for a traffic light. Which is correct? A. There was a Scribner's error in the chart published in 2018. The correct standard for a traffic light is 0.2051 minutes. 174. Does the 52 weeks of mail data that will be used for our first interim evaluations include WSS, WSH and box holder volumes? A. Those scans will be included in the data beginning March 12, 2023. As indicated in the Rrecs MOU, 3 months of this data will be included in the first evaluations, 6 months in the second, 9 months in the third, and the full year in the last of the interim evaluations. 175. In order to count something as a traffic control point, does there need to be a sign, such as a yield sign? A. Yes. The engineering panel determined that only actual sign intersections or crosswalks are to be counted as a traffic control point.